you'd like to sign up?
Oh, I don't know.
There's agendas there also. Good evening, everyone. We're about to start. Does anyone else want to sign up to speak? Okay. Does anyone need an agenda?
Yeah.
All right, all set, gentlemen? All right, let's call the meeting to order at what time? 6:01. And let's do a roll call. Make sure we have a quorum. Ryan is here. Jeff
Walker is here.
Walker is here. We have a quorum. So at this point,
Somebody want to join the board?
oh, that's right. We have an offer for anyone who would like to join the board. It's open. There are 2 other seats available. Is there anyone here? Hey, good evening. Would you like to sign up?
Yeah, I would actually. Number 5, you can put my name down. You know it. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bruce, right?
Yeah, Ruth. That's
Sorry to interrupt the meeting.
I'm sorry.
Jeff Walker.
Hi, Jeff. My name is Gail.
Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Thank you.
The date on the top of the citation is the date of service. This tells you how long you have from the state to
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. You've been served. Yep.
I don't say that.
Hey, Marvin,
Yes, sir.
a general comment or something?
Number 5, please, sir.
Number 5. Number 5. Okay. Okay. Good evening. Agenda's there if you need it. All right, so at this point, we're going to call for public comment, 3 minutes per person. First person to talk.
Yeah, I was before the board before a previous meeting, and I'd asked the board to remove the lien that's on my property, and wanted to know, Jeff had emailed me after that meeting and asking for my email address, and I supplied it to him, and I haven't heard anything since. So what's the status of you removing the lien on my property?
I don't have any time. I'll check legal. I sent that off to legal. What you have to do?
So we spent $140,000 so far, or $151,000 so far this year, and the legal hasn't been able to get back to you in time to take the lien off my property that's been on there illegally?
Not on that. I can't comment on that. You have to talk to them. We'll make a note.
Aren't you the board?
We're all aboard.
So why can't you just tell the attorney to remove the lien?
Well, but I don't know we don't know the specifics of what they've been working on. So we
Specifics, you had a water meter there, and you came and took the water meter away. And the water company's been charging me illegal standby fees. And I want the lien removed. Or you'll be receiving another lawsuit and another stop and desist order like the one you just got on your desk.
Okay.
I'd like to comment on that.
Sure.
A member within the community, and there's 5 of them up here, whoever would like it, put together an analysis of the legal spend of the Windermere Water Supply Corporation. It's a pretty detailed report of all the invoices that were received by the water company, by the Carlton Group for this year. It breaks it into the categories of how we're billed into such things as PIA requests, the $23,000 that we spent so far, the $19,000 that we spent on IRS audits. They're all nicely in here. This was not done by, it was done by a member. It was analysis that was done by them. If anybody would like a copy of them, there's 5 of them here. describes some of the legal things that they're talking about.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Alan Hicks?
Hey, Tom.
Good evening. I want to read an email that was sent out a few years back, membership of the WSC. In the past 5 years, our water rates have risen 87%. That is a fact. This is mainly due to the legal costs of the WSC as incurred defending current and past board member actions. Current board members that are in litigation should have resigned and defended their own actions. It is not the responsibility of the membership to fund questionable actions taken by the board if legal action arises. The use of our funds should have been put to a vote by the membership. It's our money. Current board members simply do not want to incur the expense to defend their own actions, so they're using our money. If I ever, which I will not, get involved in any questionable legal actions while being a board member, I will resign immediately and handle those actions outside the WSC. When you want to resign, Jim? Audit. Ask the membership to vote on a referendum to have a complete audit of the financial operations of WSC and publish back to the membership with results and recommendations. Tell me why we would not want this. Jeff Walker's campaign promise when he ran for office and was elected.
Thank you, sir.
I have a chance for clarification. There is a 2023 audit that has been a work in process, I do believe, Brian, that you can comment on, that has basically been suspended due to the expenses that it's going to take to complete that audit. There are several notes, and Brian can comment on that.
But just briefly, I think pretty much everything that they have run into has to do with our inability to find information that they need to complete the audit. And so when I learned that they were still working on it and learned that that was the problem that they keep running into, I asked them to provide me with a methodology that they use and to tell me where in that methodology they were so that we could determine how far along they were at that point. I have yet to get that. And so essentially, we have seen them on their own stop billing us. So I'm not sure if I can correlate the two, but since we started to ask questions, I haven't seen any further bills from them.
I'd also like to clarify to Mr. Alan Hicks, it's found in here, who is responsible for the IRS audit.
You know, and I'm very proud of him for that. This board needs to be looked at. The books need to be looked at by professionals. You failed to do it numerous times.
I'm sorry.
And I have something that's called integrity, and that's why it was, Jeff. I'm going to look the other way when.
We understand. You sat there and talked about coming to
integrity and character.
Yeah, integrity and character. When you sit up here and say, "Hey, this should have brought to the membership," putting an IRS audit that costs the membership $19,000. And keep in mind, Mr. Hicks, I am a member. That's coming out of my pocket. I didn't vote for that. So let's make sure we talk about integrity and clarification.
Yes, we are.
Okay, thank you. Danny, yes, you are.
So to be clear, they spent $19,000 on the IRS investigation, and they have the attorneys covering for the former boards. And everything that Walker claimed he was going to stand for, he's flopped. That's okay. I'm here to talk with Brian Garceau. Brian Garceau testified at the PUC hearing under oath that our legal expenses have, what did you call it? I don't remember exactly the verbiage. Drastically reduced our legal expenses in the last several months, knowing that there was a $31,000 legal bill in October, and you just sat up there with that stupid look on your face. So you're not just a Marxist, you're a liar, just like Jeff. I haven't caught this guy lying yet. Then another big expense is the legal fees that they sent me today.
is they've spent almost 40 grand covering for Jim Madigan, and if everybody was sitting in this room in June of 2022, when Jeff was sitting in the back going, man, you can't do that, you can't do that. We need to make him pay. And now they're covering for him too. It's in the legal fees. I've sent it around today. It's literally amazing that this guy, and actually all three of them now because they're all responsible for this. There was the ratepayer reps put an order in to try to get them to withdraw that. I don't know how much they spent on the legal brief that they filed the other day, but it's in here. I mean, boom, 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 boom. We gotta fight it, we gotta fight it, we gotta fight it. No, they don't. They could let him withdraw that application, get his act together, and come back when everything was in order, and it would have been ready to stand. Instead, Jeff's spending 40 grand.
Before you leave, Danny, so you mentioned that I knowingly said something false in the last meeting. Could you reiterate?
No, in the PUC meeting, you said,
PUC, go ahead.
that's correct.
Yep.
You said, oh, we were spending about 24 a month, but it's been drastically reduced over the last several months.
I said the most recent, the month of September, it went down a lot.
You knew that this was coming.
I
And
did
you
not.
said, yes, you did.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what I can do.
Yes.
I have been following and working with our accountant very diligently to get our books in order. What I presented before the PUC was the information that as I knew it, as we had collected at the time. And we didn't have October.
You're on these. It shows you calling, sending emails. You know this was coming.
I did not. I did not.
This is-
Okay, so we
whatever.
have a difference of opinion.
Whatever.
It's not just a difference of opinion.
By the way, in regards to Jim Madigan, CCN, I encourage the membership to reach out to Aaron and speak directly with our attorney, a licensed attorney. The reason,
More money?
hang on a second. She won't charge you for the phone call. It's to give you clarification about the impact if we don't move forward that Jim Madigan has over the corporation, because that was ruled in a board meeting. Talk to her. We're following the directions of our legal attorneys that represent the corporation. She said, if any of this comes up at meetings, call John and call Aaron. She encourages the membership to get clarification of why this is going this way in regards. That's the reason why. It was approved at a board meeting in 2022, and we could have legal ramifications from it that Madigan can sue the corporation. But I don't know the details. I'm not an attorney. I don't play one on TV. That's why Aaron's with us. Got you. Ready?
All set?
Yep.
All right, Patty, you're next.
Good evening, everyone. Here we are again. I had this good day at work, and then as it gets closer to 6 o'clock, your blood starts boiling. Who wants to come here, and deal with this? This gnat never goes away, no matter how many times we try to, swat it away. But I missed your conversations where I'm going to talk about this. How dare you call him out? He's got integrity. How dare you? Everybody, I'm sure I'll get everybody to raise their hand. How many times have you heard me come to these meetings over the years and talk about all their IRS issues? I've come to the board. I've come to this board. I've said you're doing this wrong with the IRS, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong. You've never done anything. So this man, who has so much integrity, said, you know what? I'm going to do something about it. So bullshit on you, don't call him out. I've been saying this for 5 years. And don't give me your answer. This guy's got so much integrity. You just make me so mad, you guys. As far as the PUC, we're on the schedule for Thursday to put this into a temporary manager, high time, because it's a complete mess. You should see what they're filing in all these PUC cases. It would blow your mind. They're spending so much money. The bottom line is in the CCN case, pontificate all you want. You'll never get one on over on me, because I know more than you guys. I do. They filed in the CCN at the beginning of the application that they had capacity, they had this, they had that. Fast forward, TCQ comes out here and they do an inspection. They're at maximum capacity. TCQ rules, you cannot take on any new customers when you're at capacity, your system's falling apart. So either George lied or you guys are lying, but we're never getting the truth. We're never getting the truth on anything. I could stand up here and go on and on forever. I just drove like a madman to get here and I'm out of breath. But the most important thing to take away from this meeting is that when he was on the board with Renee French, they would always have special meetings instead of calling board meetings because they couldn't call a board meeting because it had to be done by the president. They had to get the board to do it, so they would go around and they'd call a special meeting because all they needed was the secretary to do it. And so they'd always call a special meeting. The meeting tonight is a special meeting. You don't have a secretary. You cannot call this meeting. So everything you're doing tonight, go ahead, break out the bylaws. It's in this folder. Everything you're doing tonight is voidable by law because the law states you shall have a secretary and your bylaws state it. But over and over, you come to these meetings and you never appoint officers. So because you choose to circumvent the governing documents and state law, the meeting tonight is voidable and all the action you take. So you're put on notice. Thank you. I don't need a response. I don't need to hear your BS.
Unfortunately, it's all right. As far as the filing of our 2023 taxes, we have not done that yet, correct, Scott? I think we're in final review of it. Matter of fact, Patty, we sent all your concerns up to the accountants, and I do believe that they've incorporated all those into our. We haven't filed them. They're due, I think, next week.
Dude, I've been saying
So
it
just-
for 5 years.
Just to let you know.
Do not say, come to us. Come to us. I don't want to hear it.
We
We've
took
gone
your
to-
recommendations and we were forward through. Just to let you know.
You don't even know how to run this company as a 501c12.
Yeah.
You don't even
Okay.
know what it means.
Debbie Hicks.
I didn't sign to speak,
Oh.
but I'm about of a mind too.
Okay.
How much longer are you going to wait until the members push to the end, to the very end, before you give us the information? Oh, Aaron, you can call Aaron. This is the first time that information has come out. Isn't that interesting? We've all wanted to know. You've promised financials to be posted on the website. The last financials are from May 31st. You have cited I've seen you hold papers up and say, we're going to put this on the website. You'll have it. But this is what we've got. None of that is showing
There's no
up.
minutes. There's no minutes.
There's no minutes. There's-
Close to the evidence.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
And you expect us to trust you with anything? Anything? A simple post on a website could shut down so many things, just a PIA request. Simple things. But yet, no, you can't handle that. You need to go to an attorney and ask them, you know, do I have to answer the PIA request? Can we get the Attorney General involved in this somehow? How much more money are we going to spend on items that should be simply handled? I don't care if you're a volunteer. I don't care if you're a CPA. I don't care what. But you're taking even items that should be handled by an accountant and sending it to an attorney. Why? It's more money. A lot more money. That's all I see is the money just going right down the drain. As fast as you can get it to an attorney to get more money spent, you do it.
Unnecessary.
Absolutely frivolously.
All right, so Debbie, you're absolutely right about the financial statements. And what do you know about that? I have 2 requests in to get them posted.
Yeah, we put 2 requests, we're just going to follow back up with that.
They have all been turned over to be posted on the
Is it incompetence?
It's been
Is
turned
it
over
no
to the
quality?
attorneys.
Is it the papers don't exist? What's going on here? I don't trust you to
They
even
don't have a
put
treasurer.
something on the website.
They don't have a treasurer.
You don't have anything, you don't follow through on the simplest promise. And as a child, you're taught. You follow through, you do the things, and you'll earn people's trust. You have failed on so many levels, so many.
What you just mentioned are definitely fixable, easily done.
It's too little, too late.
I have no
You need to
explanation.
open the documents that you received. Yeah.
So,
You've been served.
You should read what you've been
Everybody know
served.
they've been served.
No, it's not.
There's like $4,000 right here for to have the attorneys to work on 3 agendas. 3 agendas. You know, Paul Hishar runs the POA, and I'm pretty sure Paul Hishar puts the agendas together.
I would like you to read that category, Danny, because that is not true.
That's absolutely true.
No, it's not.
Research, August 24th board meeting, $49. Research corporation tariff and setup for the meeting, $195. The next one, draft October 7th agenda, $49.
$49 to draft
Special
the
meeting
agenda.
with board, $170. Review correspondence and receive correspondence from Jeff Walker, $127.
That does not mean it's to the agenda.
Receive
Make
and
sure you're
review
accurate about it.
correspondence and prepare for board meeting, $1,657.
okay, Danny, thank you.
What he asked for.
That's a good representation of what you see there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's accurate, but it's.
And it's not on the website. And it's not on the website.
It's not accurate, though.
I'm sorry.
You're a blatant liar. You're a blatant liar. You all should resign today. Resign today, all of you, right now. Resign.
Thank you.
You're a disgrace to our community. Resign, all 3 of you.
All 3 of you need to
All
get up
three.
and walk out.
Somebody's going to be taking you out in bracelets pretty soon, just so you know.
Great.
Thank you. What I meant to say was, Danny, it's a good sample of what you see there, but we need to move on. But thank you very much.
Yeah, and another thing, I shouldn't have to request this. There's a legal tab you're 2 months behind.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Okay, Julie Newman?
Guess I'll stand up a little bit. Some of you know I was on the board for a couple of weeks. I've listened to all of this. I've been to the PUC meeting. Some of you here were not at the PUC meeting. I thought it was very sad that I had to go to the PUC meeting and had to find out things that we've been asking this board to give us answers to. One in particular, what's going on with our clarifier. I was appalled because I know that when I sat on the board for just a short period of time, and also previously, that we supposedly took out a co-bank loan that was supposed to be for a clarifier. Several of you, all of you basically have been here many times. We've heard George say, hey, we're moving this unit to this unit, and Hal was doing the testimony for this. So the next thing I heard out of his mouth is, oh, by the way, they've asked this board since April for $18,000 and some dollars, I didn't write down the exact dollar amount, to be able to fix at least our basic infrastructure. And I'm going, again, we're all sitting here, I've been to most of the meetings, do we ever hear that number? Anybody? Nope, we never heard that number. So I'm sitting there, I'm appalled again. And I'm like, and then Danny has the right number for the attorney fees, but you're spending all this money for the attorney fees and you can't find $18,000 to fix our basic structure? I find that appalling. And then, when I sat on the board and I was the president, I'm gonna get like Debbie because I'm mad.
And you should be. We all should be.
I know,
It's
but I
unbelievable.
sit here and I listen, and it takes a lot for me to get to this point. And I sat on the board for those 2 weeks, and when I was nominated in as president,
Yeah, it's funny, Jeff.
who had to do the PIA request, Jeff? I had to. I was designated. All of you, if you're board members, and then Brian sat there at the PUC meeting and said, Danny, you quote me if I'm right, that he was a board member. What did he tell us at the last meeting?
He was not a board
That
member.
he was not a board member.
Exactly.
That he was not.
Yeah.
So we don't even get, I'm here to say, we don't get the truth. You talk about trust, we lost your trust a long time ago.
Okay,
And the monies, I have my 3 minutes.
you do, go ahead, sorry.
The money that you're spending, I don't understand why you can't do your own agendas. We were doing our own agendas.
I sat on the HOA board now. When I was on the HOA board as the president, I did my own agendas. I don't care if you're paying $49, what you're paying, it shouldn't be paid. You've been doing them long enough that legally you can't even do them right, but at least you can follow a template to be able to do them. That's it.
It's incompetence.
Yeah.
I want to clarify on that. If everybody would read the letter of engagement we have with John Carlton that Julie Newman signed, it states in there that they will review and do all of our agendas. That's part of the legal process.
Go tell that to somebody else. No, sorry.
Following the rules of the engagement agreement.
Okay, and so
Go ahead.
the board is gonna hold you over, or the lawyers over a barrel saying, nope, you can't do it, you gotta pay us to do the agenda, I'm sorry. Go tell it to somebody else, buddy.
So who voted at the end of the meeting to hire those attorneys and agree to that agreement?
I did not.
Signed it.
I did not.
No,
I
wait.
recused myself. You know,
Okay.
That law firm was
Julie Newman
handpicked by
signed
Jeff
it.
Walker.
I did not vote for
That
anyone.
law firm was handpicked by you.
It was reviewed by
It
Renee
was
French.
handpicked by you.
Renee
Yeah,
French.
where is Renee French?
Somewhere on the board.
Yeah, where is Renee French?
So you
He's
keep
got all his
saying
property
that-
for sale. I
Danny,
wonder
hang
why.
on. Danny, hang on.
You keep saying that it's the agreement that Julie signed. Julie was the president, but she did not vote to hire that law firm, and neither did Patty. Neither one of them voted to do that. You and the other board members who were,
Judy Miller and Renee French at the
That's
time.
exactly right. So y'all were the majority.
Yep.
And that's the reason Julie signed it, because the majority of the board members approved it. So you keep saying, Julie, you signed it like it was her responsibility and she was the one.
You
who
could have
hired
changed
the
it.
company.
Could have
You
changed
could have
it.
changed it, but you were
Yeah,
the majority of the board that
It's a
voted.
minimal amount of money, you know, to have the
Okay,
agenda
let's
of the
cut
corporation.
through all
to
this.
review.
At the PUC meeting,
Let's just-
the last question asked by the PUC attorney was to the operator, is this utility in a dire situation? And he said, yes, it is.
Yep.
We are barely hanging on.
That's the CEO.
We're
Yep.
barely hanging
You know
on
who it
with
is.
the utility.
Okay, thank you, Pat, and others. All right, Marvin, you said number 5. You want to wait to I'm about to introduce that. You want
Yeah, I
to
guess
wait
so.
just a moment? Or
Yeah,
do you want to jump on?
I apologize, I was about 2 minutes late.
Before you speak, Marvin,
Yeah.
do you,
What happened to,
Hey,
wait,
hang on a second, Mark.
just, I'm
Yeah.
I'm
sorry,
sorry, beg your
No,
pardon.
yeah, just a second.
no worries.
I'm sure.
Do you have a general comment? And
Well,
I mean, the crazy thing is, I'm about to talk about what you want to
Well, you
talk
can
about.
start the clock on me.
So before we do that, let me just introduce it, and then we'll open the floor to allow people to speak to number 5.
Okay.
There you go.
Right, please do.
Thank you. Okay, so number 5 is deliberation decisions concerning sale of corporation property located within the airport, approximately 6.72 acres, parcel number 56161 and 62330. All right, so at this point, I'd like to open the floor to those that have signed up to speak, and Marvin, we'll have you go first, if that's okay.
Was I the first one?
Yes, well,
Am I the
you're
first
the
one?
next one on the list.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I'm
so
asking you to
Oh,
come.
there's somebody behind me, after me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'll use 15 seconds of number 5 to talk about number 3. I was about 2 minutes late getting here, 6:02. And is number 3, did it happen in the 2 minutes before I got there?
No.
Number 3 on your agenda.
Yeah, deliberation of possible boards, yes.
Yes.
We went
Did
through
it
that.
happen?
We offered,
Yeah,
and
we
no one
offered.
responded.
We can come back if you want to join us. I mean, it's a public comment, you can comment on it if you choose.
I beg your pardon?
It's a public comment, you can comment on it if you choose to.
I thought I was on number 5, but if I can do anything, okay. So you said, is anybody interested here, and that was it on number
3.
3?
That's correct.
So nobody is willing to join me?
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah, I'll talk to you afterwards.
Okay.
Number 5, on the sale. It says deliberation and decisions. Decisions is plural, so I don't really know what that means, except there'll be more than one decision perhaps. Please. The other thing is, if you're going to make a decision on this property, if you are, then I hope that you will have a whole lot of information about what you've done and so on, about appraisals, about comparables, about advertisements that you've done or not done, who you've consulted about this. If you're going to decide tonight to sell this piece of property, if you're going to, you better have all of your stuff, all of the things that I've talked about and others that I don't know about that perhaps the real estate people would. This is serious, serious stuff for all of us, and don't throw it at us and do this like that. Don't do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, Mark, I don't think you were signed up for this, correct?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, thank you. Alan?
I don't know what they're gonna do tonight, or what their decision's gonna be, or what they're even gonna talk about. I just offer this, it needs to be postponed, whatever it is. There was a thing called an election Tuesday night, and I don't know if you folks looked at the stock market yesterday, but it shot up about 1,500 points. Fed cut rates today, so it seems like a good times are coming as far as real estate and the economy. What's the rush to vote on anything tonight when we have the potential of the economy picking up, real estate values going up, people actually wanting to build, come in and build up businesses, which would spur competition. We may get several bids, we may get several offers, who knows? So I just want to know if they are going to, what's the rush to vote on this tonight, when in 3 months this economy could be turned around, it could be rip-roared, and our property value could increase no telling how much. Also, we have a hearing next week. The PUC is going to determine whether they will sign a temporary manager. Mr. Walker here has said that he's afraid of a temporary manager come in and have a fire sale. That's what he testified to at the hearing. And he has no problem with the temporary manager coming in. He just don't want to come in and sell at a fire sale. Well, temporary manager is a professional law firm, a professional accounting firm. You go back and look at those things. The PUC assigns you, and I can't see someone that works for the Texas Utility Commission who's in their list that they go down and pick, but come in and do anything. Their job is to come in, assess what's going on in our corporation, put together a plan that's going to benefit our corporation, that's what's best for the members, and it's not coming in there, sell. They're going to come in and look at, you have this, that, okay, we may need to sell this, we may not. But if it needs to be, it's going to be done professionally. It's going to be done right. It's not going to be done with a real estate agent who is best friends with Jeff Walker. The conflict of interest. Can't you guys see the conflict of interest? The Bill Hayes over there, this guy's selling them, and we don't know who they want to sell them to.
That's right.
But I just, something doesn't smell right here. And I don't know, and I'm not going to be accusatory, but I just wonder whose pockets being padded. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. When we laugh every now and then, it's not because of what you're saying, it's because of the inability to do the simplest of things. And that's operate the cube.
Yeah.
All right, anyway. Danny, you're next.
Yeah. Well, given the seriousness of the issues, I think y'all sitting up here laughing is ridiculous. Jeff hit home at the PUC hearing what Alan was saying. We can't have the temporary manager having control of that kind of stuff. Days later, on these legal bills, he's working the deal. Days later. It's been on the market for 3 months. I mean, what's the hurry? What's the rush? And what I found the most interesting thing in these invoices, to me, is on Halloween, trick or treat. they paid the attorney $333 to try to figure out how to hide some of this information from us. Think about that.
Thank you, Danny. Patty?
Can you tell me what agenda item we're on?
Selling the land.
What happened to appointing the directors?
You were late.
Oh,
But you can talk on it, Marvin, they were going to let Marvin on anything you want.
Public comment.
okay, interesting, they always have appointing a director, but they never have appointing officers. Funny, huh? It's because they can check that box and say, well, we're trying to get directors. How about this? How about we're trying to get officers? We're trying to get officers. How about you do that one? No, you two don't want the liability, that's why. That's why. Whatever. Selling the land. Let me make this quick. I mean, it's just a joke. I spent a lot of time on it. By the way, this is a temporary restraining order.
It's
No, these are not.
piles of paper.
Okay, that's a temporary restraining order or something. That you cannot sell the property, and there will be more fun stuff to follow. Anyways, the land that they want to sell has a lift station on it. If you go online, they posted some real estate stuff about how we're working on platting it and getting easements and this and that. Nothing about that we've actually platted it, that it's got a final plat to it. Here's the thing, we've got an active lift station on it. You look at the county imagery of that piece of property and you look at the plat that his buddy has done, conflicts of interest, and they don't line up. Our lift station, based on the Burnett County CAD, dips down a little bit into the square they're wanting to, or the triangle. Factor in TCQ rules. I don't know if it's 290, 290 something. Buffer zones, you gotta have buffer zones around those lift stations. And if anybody's been in the airport, you know there's tons of smell coming from that lift station. TCQ has rules on that. It's something that have to do with odor. And it can be anywhere from like 20 to 100 feet around that lift station. You probably know, maybe you've smelled it before, and it's not too far away from.
It stinks.
It's really bad, and that's why you have these buffer zones, and you're not supposed to have structures near them. And it's for the protection of the people, and it's for the protection of the utility, buffer zones. They don't bother to look into this stuff. They'll say, oh yeah, we're on that. But no, they just, let's sell. Finally, in closing on this property, do you guys have any idea that you have a code of ethics? Yes or no? You do know that. Well then, if you do know it, I guess you've read it. You've read section 3.1, 3.3. It talks about conflicts of interest. It talks about how if you are someone that's dealing with somebody else, that you have a relationship with them, specifically builders and developers. You just look at it and clearly you are not allowed to do business. Mr. Walker, you have a relationship with Kern Van Emen. You bought from him your hangar, or you bartered, whatever. You are friends with him. You are also building in the airport. You clearly have a conflict of interest. It is in black and white that you have it, and I've talked to 2 attorneys about it, and they agree. Anything that you have done on the contracts, on the negotiations, setting it up, voting on it, is null and void because you're in violation of the code of ethics. Go ahead. I'll tell you what, it's in that filing. So open up yours and you can read it. It's all in there. So go ahead, go and vote on it. This meeting is not called. It's not a special meeting where you didn't have the secretary. You've got conflicts of interest, voidable. We've got something filed in Burnett County, so just keep on keeping on. We put you on notice, and if you vote on this tonight, it's egregious what you've done.
A couple notes of clarification. There is a survey, a brand new survey that's been done. They carved out the lift station. They did an easement, a utility easement down the north side
Do you
of
have
the
a buffer
property.
zone? Did you put a buffer zone in?
There is a zone in there for yes.
How
You-
much
you
did
see-
we pay for that?
Did you
See
recuse
it
yourself?
on the survey, you'll see it on the survey. It was one of the requirements when we
So you got the
signed up.
TCQ? You got the TCQ?
You know, I let you talk, Patty. It's
You-
like-
So basically, you got the TCQ, so I can call TCQ and find out the public information request that you talked with them
You
about.
can just look at the survey and we'll go from there. So,
Debbie, did you, your name is here again,
If
I'm
his
sorry.
lips are moving.
Debbie Hicks?
Yeah,
you know.
whatever.
No,
No, good? Okay, thanks. Julie Newman?
I just wrote comment.
Just comp,
Yeah,
which means,
she just wanted to know.
oh, okay. And Marvin, you've already spoken. All right, so that's the end of those that wanted to speak to this particular item. All right?
Mhm.
Okay, so I have some prepared notes that I'm going to read verbatim as we proceed into an executive session. All right? So we've talked about the item on the agenda. We're going into executive session pursuant to section 551.072, deliberations about real property. And we're going to go into executive session, discuss the offer as received and any potential counter offer the board wants to make. We're going to reconvene into a regular session after that. And if the board wants to make a counter offer, we'll take a vote to authorize at that time. And we'll have a different board member apparently send the counter offer with the terms and conditions as discussed in executive session. And then after we come back and possibly talk, possibly vote, possibly do some other things, we will adjourn the meeting at that
Do
time.
you think you're not going to go to jail for doing this? Do you really believe you can have a dictatorship and that you can hide everything from this community and that you're not all going to go to jail? Do you have the arrogance to sit up there and propose what you're doing is fraudulent, criminal, and dishonest, and you're all fucking pieces of shit? To put it bluntly.
And you've just been served.
Great.
Great, good job, good job,
We've been served, thanks.
good job.
Great.
Other comments before we leave?
Can you tell us some idea of how long the executive session
Good
might
question,
be?
Marvin. Thank you very much. Good question. How long do you think? 10 minutes? I haven't seen.
20 seconds,
I haven't
probably.
seen
You're
the
already
offer.
deciding what you're gonna do.
Okay, so we're going to need to look at the offer.
Less than 30 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe one of those that can have.
Do you think that the PUC will smile upon this favorably?
All right. Yep.
Think about that before the
We
board.
will.
So people like me, they don't know.
We're just here, we can throw dust on them.
Explain that separately. Everybody's quiet for a second. Patty's just going to tell you what happened. The people that came in late, they were served.
What's that?
That's just a timer.
What?
Can I say something first?
Let's go ahead.
Y'all have heard me call Brian Garceau in these meetings a Marxist. He's more interested in recording what we are doing than what they are doing.
Right. Just tell everybody what you, but they were sober, so everybody's up to speed.
So a handful of us decided that we were going to prevent this from happening. We put together something called a TRO, it's a temporary restraining order, and it's an emergency. And so you put everything in there but the kitchen sink, well, I'm going to get the kitchen sink too, citing to all the facts. And then you make your argument on the harm to us, what it's going to be. And so we all got together and we filed that, and it's filed today. And we noted all the different things. And there's a lot, you know, when we go in and we look at all of it, well, they'll just say no. But the TCQ thing really is it's an important thing. And if you don't know, there's a lift station in the airport. And this lift station, what it does is it takes the water from Tennis Village, and if you're in the ranch at Windermere and you have sewer service, what it does, the lift station, is it takes your sewer water and it puts it through a system, and it takes out anything that's, you know, according to George, jeans, you know, that he always went on about. And then it pumps it over to the wastewater treatment plant. And it's used for gravity lift stations too. You have like a little lift station called your grinder pump, and that helps with it. So this lift station, it's pretty big. It takes in all these different structures and from the airport too, and it is sitting on this property. And what these guys will fail to tell you, what they won't tell you because they probably don't know, is that's our facility, that's our infrastructure that we are selling, or we're selling land with our infrastructure. And there's certain things that you have to do because you're selling part of your, you know, something important that it is used in every day. So it's not as simple as, oh, we're going to get an easement, or we're going to do this, we're going to do that. You have to go through all the proper channels to make sure. Because if you're going to sell this property and you have a lift station, they're entitled as a property owner to build on their property. And they're just going to build. I mean, if they have a lot, they're going to put there this possible person that, or company that's purchasing it. They don't tell us who it is. I mean, did they even tell us the company name? That's a requirement under the Open Meetings Act. They can't say it's like anonymous. We need to know.
On this invoice, it says they're gonna try to keep as much of that information confidential as possible.
Nice. Yeah, they can't do that. Whatever, they just do it. But so I mean, what are the encumbrances? Do we know this? We own that. That's our lift station. That's the utilities facility. So if that person builds up right to that lift station, then it's like, okay, but there's supposed to be a TCQ buffer zone in there. And, you know, was that disclosed to the owner? And if it wasn't disclosed to the owner, and let's say a year down the road, they're like, what is that smell? What's going on here? Why is it so strong? Well, we didn't disclose and we didn't do things properly. So now you set it up to where that the utility can be sued because there's damages now for this owner because none of this stuff was done properly. Like these, they don't even think about this stuff. They don't care.
They don't care.
It's just sell, sell, sell. And so this temporary restraining order, that's in there. It's in that they don't have officers in order to pass a resolution. You have to sign off a resolution that you're selling a huge asset that takes the president and secretary. We don't have one. So that's in there. They continue to not put up officers. I don't know why they don't take an officer position. So as you look through years and years of water company documents, they always have resolutions on major votes that the board does, whether it's changing the bylaws or whatever. And it's always the president and it's always the secretary. And the reason why is you will find that in the law of resolutions, and you'll find that it's mandatory to have a president and a secretary, mandatory, for a nonprofit corporation in Texas. And what they'll do is they'll say, well, I'm sitting in as the president because the bylaws say in the absence of a president, the vice president can step in. That's only when like they're sick or they can't be at the meeting. It's not a permanent sitting in for them. So they're circumventing the law and they're paying their attorneys and we're paying for it to argue, to go all the way up to the line and cross it when it comes to these arguments. But so we have facilities, and then, like I said, down the road, what if they have a claim against the utility because none of this stuff was disclosed? I mean, and if anybody has been over in the airport, Tom, you've probably been over there. Danny, if you're near that lift station, it's right behind Renee French's hangar. The odor coming from it is horrendous. It's overwhelming. And it's pretty bad. And so anybody that has a hangar right there, they know that smells pretty bad. And it's been like that for years. But as development has, built up in the airport, it's more obvious.
So let me just, Linda just brought up the subject. Has this board even verbally said to any of us if they were to sell this property out from under us without our, consent? What are they going to use that money for? What are they going to use that money for?
Well,
is it to pay our legal fees
Anything.
that they, jacked up?
So they said at the PUC hearing, Jeff Walker said, and the same breath, and we just filed something, the ratepayers and the PUC temporary manager, because Lloyd Gosling filed something saying, we want our money, we're entitled to that surcharge, it's been non-payment, we haven't been paid anything. Well, that's not true. They've been paid, that I can point to, at least $155,000, if not $200,000 in rate appeal expenses, and they filed that 2 years ago, and I guess they forgot about that filing. So they were filing something to the PUC that Jeff Walker said, no money has gone, none of the surcharges have gone, and while they haven't gone to the attorneys, they have gotten paid. But Jeff Walker did say, when he was making that statement before the PUC, in the same breath, he said, well, I want to sell the asset. And he said, because we got lots of bills to pay. Specifically, I have to pay $500,000. He said, have to pay $500,000 to Lloyd Gosling. That was on the 24th. On the 30th, Lloyd Gosling filed something stating they wanted their money for the surcharge.
And then
And on the 30th,
is when
the
they started
attorneys
working the
billed
deal.
them on a deal. So,
So has
I don't have a
anybody,
crystal ball, but
has
I
anybody looked into, can anybody find out where that money is that we borrowed from Cobank?
So I did a
It's not
massive-
clarifier
I did a
that
massive
we do
PI
not have
request.
still.
I did a massive PI request, they completely ignored me. I want to know where the Cobank money went to.
Is it gone? Do we even know if it's gone?
Somebody might have walked off with it. Who
there's
knows?
some money in there, I don't know
How
what's
can we
Kodak
tell? How
knows.
can we find
I
that out?
can see in the financials, but I don't even know if the financials are accurate. The most important thing
Well, we
about
don't have a secretary, so we don't
finances
know.
is, we have, what do we have? I don't know, 301 customers, members, if not more. So what you pay in a membership fee, from years ago it was $350, now we're charging $401 or whatever, which is wrong. They're supposed to be charging back to $350. It's over $100,000 we should have in the bank for membership fees because they're refundable. It's depleted.
They spent it.
It's all gone. They use our refundable membership fees to pay attorneys and other things, who knows what. So it's like $5,000 in there. It's
And
pretty,
Jeff testified at the PUC that when the boards, the PUC people asked him, well, you've been collecting the surcharge, have you made a payment to the attorneys? He said no.
Yeah.
They've never,
Yeah.
they
He said
never,
no.
the money they're
He said
collecting
no.
is
And
the
they're
surcharge.
he still claims they're losing 10 grand a month.
Yeah.
and here's the thing, it's not that I think anybody opposes selling real estate. I don't think anybody opposes that to make money. But it's the whole way they go about it,
Well,
and they've made
it's
these
somebody that
decisions,
he's
and
affiliated
it's
with.
connections.
Right.
We all know that.
It's-
It's gonna benefit
It's
Jeff.
nefarious acts.
It's
And-
criminal the way they are running this. We are all owners of this, and we get information. We get nothing. We're not told anything, we're not presented anything. It's just, it's our way or the highway, we're dictators.
Well, I've said this for
We should be
years.
fed up with it, and they should just be run out of town.
The only
Tar
way
and
to
feather,
make a change
like
is
the old days.
to change the bylaws, to take the power away from them, or get a temporary
Well, that was
manager.
something else looking at the PUC, Patty, was that the PUC, basically, staff said they filed 2 bylaw changes. And have we ever seen those? We never saw
It's
them.
filed it's filed in the
So
compliance
this
document.
injunction that they just got served to hold off, they have to hold off until the PUC makes the.
Well, until there's an actual order.
So what,
That's all we're asking.
I understand that,
Well,
but if
there
they go
is-
against that, what can, I mean, what's to
The
stop
sales
them
not
tonight?
legitimate.
What's to stop them tonight? They're out there making a decision as we speak, so.
We've already made a decision.
Nothing.
They walked in this place with a decision.
Nothing.
Well, obviously, because that was the only 2 things on the agenda.
It's,
So,
I
yeah.
think for me, it's lack of respect for the Public Utility Commission, which is a powerful
But
state agency, one of
that
the
they-
biggest in the United States.
And they've been poo-pooing
That they
that all
are,
along.
they're sidestepping an agency, a water, electric, water, and telecommunications agency that oversees all these utilities. Like, I guess for me, I was blown away at the PUC hearing that the lack of respect. The attorneys are talking, the commission is talking, they come out of the hearing and they reconvene the commissioners meeting. Jeff Walker just stands up and starts packing up his backpack. I mean, and this is like a commissioner appointed, however you feel about the governor, but appointed by the governor. I mean, these people are appointed by the governor, and this guy has that little respect for these commissioners that he just gets up and starts putting stuff in and goes, oh, I want to go home and eat. I'm like, oh my God. Like, so if they can't do that to the commissioners, what makes you think they're going to respect us and what we have to say to them?
I have a question for you. Given the fact that the PUC has decided that they will appoint a temporary manager, correct?
Well, I hope. I'm almost
Well,
99% sure, but until.
Well, I thought the POC ruled that they were going to appoint a temporary manager. I thought I heard that. Is
Well,
that not-
what they said was, well, seeing that Mr. Walker has no problem appointing a temporary, that he has
You
no
know,
problem.
he said that in the hearing.
I have
He
no
goes, I have no problem.
I have no problem.
Well, yes, but I thought the commission voted to have a temporary
That's what this
manager in
next year.
November, I thought.
That's this next year.
That's the hearing on the 14th.
No, it was a hearing. That was a hearing.
Okay.
Like
That
a
was
trial,
very-
it was like a trial.
Okay, then, given that the PUC is still, has that under deliberation,
And
okay,
it's-
if that's the case, am I right on that?
Yes.
Okay, if that's the case, then can the members or you, since you seem to know a lot about these things, do something to prevent the board from doing that, selling that property,
She just.
given the fact that the board is in a hiatus at the moment?
That's what.
That's what the injunction is, Marty.
That was the injunction we just heard.
Well, that's why,
Okay,
that's
all right.
why.
But it hasn't been signed.
It's with the district court, so we're talking about two different things. This is the district court, the injunction, and then what you're saying, the Public Utility Commission. So two different entities here. So we got it going with the district court. As far as the PUC, yeah, sure, we can all file something, we can file something tomorrow or Monday. But you know, it's limited jurisdiction with the PUC, so you have to thread that needle and look at what their authority is. And, you know, in my opinion, we've got infrastructure on this land and the buffer zone, and typically you're not allowed to do that. You're not supposed to be a utility and, oh, hey, I'm gonna sell some land and my wastewater treatment plant is on that land, but, you know, I'm gonna leave it there and this guy's
We'll
gonna.
deal with it later.
Yeah, you typically have to go through a process. The PUC wouldn't be A-okay. And so whether it's a big wastewater treatment plant or if it's just 5 feet of a lift station, it's your facilities. And so that's the things that they want to know about. They want to know that they just sold property that has facilities on it because this is in their CCN and PUC has that authority. And it's a little complicated, but where you're going to get the most mileage is with this district court, because the district court looks at it as we are the members of this nonprofit corporation and we own it. So they have a little different view of it than the PUC. So yes, the PUC would be concerned because like they're circumventing around the PUC, because I would take a guess that the PUC and their attorneys and a whole team, they're been busy trying to brief and write up a recommendation to the commission on how to put this TM, temporary manager, in place in their authority. And these guys are just going and doing whatever, and probably
As fast
about
as they can.
30, an hour of the conversation that day, a lot of it had to do with real estate and this and that. So, oh my gosh, what if they're working on something right now that talks about the real estate and how the temporary manager is going to be having that authority to sell the property and the assets, only to find out that literally a week, today, Thursday, before, the board just preempted that and took that authority away from the PUC, what they wanted to do, and sold it. So, I mean, once again, the lack of the respect of the commission, the fact that we even went through with this hearing, because Mr. Walker said, well, I don't oppose it. Well, what are we all here for? Because everybody up there is getting paid with tax dollars, including all the staff sitting there. So we just had this 3-ring circus, which cost the taxpayers, only for Mr. Walker to say, well, I don't oppose it.
But I do oppose a temporary manager coming in here and selling our property. I want to put some regulations on it.
Hence with 2 agenda items, one being
And they won't
town
get-
property.
His friend won't get the deal then.
So,
Yeah.
That's basically it.
Sue, did you have a question? You had a question. I guess it-
Martin,
you were,
I just wanted to clarify.
are you awake?
I want to clarify that the lift station over there is actually, we're getting temporary. Functioning lift station.
It's what?
It's functioning.
It is, yeah, it's functional.
Let them sell until lift station is PUC makes their decision. That's what we're asking the
Yeah.
district court judge to do.
And it requires maintenance to go over there, and sometimes we'll have to drive a pickup truck over there to maintain.
They didn't vote on it, though. This next meeting, they're gonna vote on it.
There was
So
too
they
much
said-
information
and,
given, and so they felt like they needed more time to discuss it.
Is that the pump? Gas replacement years back?
No, that was Minnesota. There's enough.
We had to pay for it. I remember that.
Yeah, we did.
That one actually pumps to this one.
Yes. Should not be doing this until we have made sure that that lift station is completely. You can't just put a line right at 5 feet away. It should be a bit of
Section of property should be that.
They are doing
Part of the section.
whole plan,
Should be
or anything
that.
like that.
Part of the sale.
See, our
Whatever we own,
plan
that's
to
part of
sell
the
it,
corporation,
it didn't
should
do
stay
that.
with the
They're selling it
Has
as.
some stipulations sitting in the contract.
It was my idea.
When that builds up, when we get a heavy rain and the ponds fill up,
I mean,
the sewage comes up. The sewage.
Well, because it's probably $3 million the way it sits today, and they fence it off, but they're doing everything else. The last time they tried to dump it off for $600,000.
I said, but they have, is it TDC?
I said, more immediate.
But, and I see what you're saying, but
I got a question.
does.
The bottom line is, so you file this restraining order, if they come back and say that they're gonna sell it, and don't tell that guy tomorrow that it's sold, isn't it invalid? Because I have.
I'm selling you the property, I'm saying I'm selling you the property.
Oh, but while we're buyers, while we're doing valid.
You said so.
This is
And
a
and like I said, we're not.
substantial asset.
Hey, everybody quiet for a second. She has something we can show you, so everybody that knows this.
This is the end of the commissioners meeting where everybody has said their piece. They had the closing arguments, and this is what the commissioner actually says.
Number 13, that's document 57065, petition for order appointing temporary manager to Windermere Water Supply Corporation. So, we heard a lot of evidence, a lot of testimony. You know, obviously, Mr. Walker said that he doesn't object to a temporary manager. I think we have a lot to consider. If we're going to appoint a temporary manager, I want to make sure the order is right. And so I think what I'd say at this point, what I'd recommend is let's let a PDM come up with bullet points and give us briefing ahead of the November 14th open meeting, and then move forward with the November 14th open meeting. If that works for everybody.
So it's not.
14th.
But what they're working on has to do with what they're doing tonight. Part of it is, they're supposed to be doing briefings on the assets of the property, of the utility. So they're gonna go into the meeting and they're gonna vote on this and talk about it and go, what? You sold, you voted to sell the asset?
Hey, can you pull up Mayor's closing? I think everyone in here needs to hear.
And just so you know, the state, PUC has, I don't know, probably 8 people, 10 people working on this case. they were all there. I mean, the attorneys, paralegals, their research teams, there was a whole mass of people that were there listening to what was going on that day. So they're very involved and concerned. This will be the first time, I think correctly, that the state of Texas is going to have to appoint a temporary manager to run any utility in the state of Texas.
This is the first time they're gonna.
A water company?
This is probably the first time they're gonna appoint a temporary manager to a water supply corporation for mismanagement and all these other things. 99% of the time when they appoint a temporary manager, it's because it's an IOU, or maybe it's a WSC, but that's few and far in between, where they just walked away and nobody was running it. There was no operator, no general manager, no board, and so people weren't getting water. This is the first time, because of complete malfeasance, mismanagement, not filing in the PUC several documents, filing incorrect, giving wrong information, financials that the numbers are completely fluctuating from one financial to another, and they don't line up. And so it just has accumulated to the point where it's just a lack of respect for the commission and their orders and complete mismanagement. And their position is that it's the members that are being hurt, and they have to step in because the Public Utility Commission is about the public, and they have an obligation to us.
How come the IRS audit was stopped?
I don't think it is. I think it's still going.
So in these invoices,
I thought he said that it was, that they had to stop the IRS audit.
no, they've been having the attorneys handle it, not the CPAs.
Also, as a side note, IRS, when you sell an asset and you're gonna make 1.5 million or 1 million or whatever you make,
That changes our status.
it's taxable because we're a 501c and we're not supposed to be in the business of making money.
Yes.
Right.
So that changes
So,
our entire status.
We are at, it's 22%, we're on the hook to pay taxes on. So whatever we make, 22% of it, right off the top, has to go towards taxes. Because you're selling it to a non-member, it's non-patron income. Even if it is a member, it's income for not purposes of running a utility. So, so we're gonna get dinged 22%, if not more, in property taxes. I'm sorry, income taxes, yeah.
Capital gains.
And, so, and the way you get around that is when you have it, you sell it and people make payments, so you can sell it for like 15, or $1 million, and there's over like 5 years, you make payments. But you're not supposed to be, as a water supply corporation, you're not supposed to be sitting on assets. They should have sold all of this many, many years ago. And,
But if the lift station was on it, then we don't have, it didn't need to be sold, it was being the property.
well, they can carve off a whole bunch of that property, but they're not. They're selling all of it. They should be carving off at least a half an acre around that, and they're not. They're going all the way up to the lift station to sell it. So,
Somebody wants that land,
Yes.
I mean, it's just too much, too fast.
and somebody
Yes.
connected to somebody else there.
Absolutely.
They know what's coming down the pipe.
That's
Temporary
right.
managers being appointed.
So in the IRS invoices from the law firm, there's an interesting line. Research regarding George Burris letter requesting records. Now Burris is actually requesting records from the water company.
They just did a public information.
Just
request on me.
recently?
Yeah.
Do any records
On
exist?
Halloween.
Why?
Well,
He's not even here anymore.
because I suspect that he's a little worried about what's going on.
Do any records exist?
Yes.
Yeah, they do exist, but they have answered all their RFIs, and a handful of their cases with PUC is saying, we have no responsive documents, we don't have it, we don't know where it is, like blaming the previous board. So, no, actually, you know what? I got so frustrated with them always telling the PUC, I said, why don't you go look at the rate appeal docket 50788. I'm going to take a guess, there's at least 100,000 pages of
Financials.
RFIs. I mean, the financials that go back to 2014, And yet they sit up here and they go, we don't have it. They have everything. And so I filed it. I said, yeah, you do. But they don't want to take the time to look at all the previous other stuff. They'll tell you to your face, I know all about it, but they don't want to take the time. There are so many documents in that rate appeal. I think Joe Jimenez's direct testimony was 9,000 pages. This is true, it's 9,000 pages, his testimony.
Why did you talk that long?
He had so many,
Didn't know anything.
no,
It's
it's pages, you submit it, it's paper, it's not his
Yeah.
clock.
Do we have any?
They're the president, they're the plan, they'll sign it.
Well, that's why we filed it T.
No, can we do anything against them
Can we
legally?
do
But how can
anything?
I trust how can this community allow this to happen?
At the PUC meeting, I think that every time you
Awesome.
talk about it, oh,
Y'all want to hear a closing
I'm sure.
argument? A long time out there, guys.
And one more second, one more video from you, the attorney.
Quiet.
Then he's got the closing argument.
I've got the closing argument.
She was very good.
Oh, this is good.
Your time today after the last 3.5 hours, 2.5 hours. I think we can all see that Windermere cannot manage its own affairs. It has thumbed its nose at this commission and at its own members. It has repeatedly and habitually ignored the commission, and its board has made its disdain for the commission clear. It has ignored its customers, disregarding their experience and their desire to see the WSC succeed. It can't adhere to its own tariff. It can't adhere to its own bylaws. It could not present a coherent rate design. It's under investigation by the IRS. It hasn't made plans to update its infrastructure. There are leaks. There are boil water notices. Their equipment is obsolete. The potential health hazards are very real. Almost every time I open a Windermere document or spreadsheet, I see another error, another inconsistency. One of the commission's ALJs grew so tired of Windermere's non-compliance that he asked staff to file a recommendation on what to do. And here we are. I genuinely do not see any option besides a temporary manager. Forcing Windermere to pay administrative penalties only hurts the ratepayers. And while having a temporary manager isn't free, it at least comes with the benefit of helping Windermere get its affairs in order. But right now, it's time for Windermere to see the consequences of its actions and its inactions. This commission cannot allow any utility, big or small, to ignore its orders and ignore the law over and over and over. And it is possible that the board wants to apologize, wants to say it's sorry, wants to say that it will do better. But the time for apologies has passed. The time for exceptions has passed. Windermere has had ample time to address its shortcomings. In docket 56167, the ALJ gave Windermere multiple chances to get it right. Windermere did not even respond to those orders. And that's the essence of the problem. Windermere doesn't think enough of this commission to grace it with a response, even less fulfill the requirements that it chose to submit to. Ultimately, a slap on the wrist doesn't help Windermere's customers. Things are in such a state of disarray that Windermere desperately needs professional help. Giving them more time to satisfy the requirements that it has ignored for months won't put its infrastructure right. Giving it more time won't magically make Windermere capable of simply filing consistent information with the commission. The members of Windermere Oaks Water Supply Corporation need our help, and after today, I hope the commission can see that help is warranted. And where we can help ratepayers and are justified in helping them, we should. And for that reason, staff respectfully requests that the commission issue an order appointing a temporary manager for Windermere Oaks Water Supply Corporation.
Yay, Mayor.
Yeah.
Wait, so let's hear Jeff Wallace.
Yes, thank you very much, everybody in this room, commission, Ms. Denmark, and so on. I don't disagree. I said it from the beginning. We definitely have issues. There's no doubt about it. And I can't tell you enough what it comes down to. It comes down to money. And I will go back to the report, the director's report here of the 246 members. Those are receipts that we received at the time of the report. We received $22,164 for 246 members. Yes, That was the receipts that we received, so I want to make that clarification. You had probably 40 members in there. You don't get much above $30,000 a month that we're generating receipts. So I wanted to clarify that as far as the director's report. Those reports are very detailed, they're very old, they do need to be updated, and it does take some navigation and understanding of them. It took me a while to get with that. We are not habitual, you know, as Ms. Banger said about our filings and such. We're doing the best we can with 3 individuals on the board, limited money, and a lot of things thrown at us. It was just presented about an IRS audit. Did we anticipate that in 2024? Heck no. That was issued by a member within the community who does that to their own corporation. That's what we did in 2022, the way we did our taxes. Boy, if that was me, what I would have done is come to the board and say, hey, we're ready to file your 2023 taxes. Make sure you look at these areas. Make sure, because what we found, you know, in our analysis was, there might have been some things missing. But instead, somebody filed an audit against us within the IRS, and you got it
Ready to pick up once,
Yes.
run with it once we make a meeting?
Can I ask the members a question real quick? Who in this room thinks that they should wait till after the PUC hearing to act on this?
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
As we should.
I mean, Jeff said that he would work for the members, and
All right, thank you everyone, thanks for your patience. I think we kept it to a half hour, so that's good. All right, I'm reconvening our meeting at what time?
7:16.
1916. Very good. All right, Jeff, you have the floor.
Well, I make a motion that we accept one of the 2 contracts that we talked about at the closed session.
What a disgrace you are.
And is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second that one.
Okay, all those in favor?
You crooked son.
Aye.
You can't do that. You have to come out and you have to discuss it.
Aye.
You can't
I hope you all go to jail.
You can't do that. You don't even know. You didn't even say who it was.
Hey, smart ass, I wish I could take it outside.
We can just go right
I hope everybody's listening to this.
I cannot wait to use that clip as evidence with the temporary restraining order. Oh, let me guess. When you were out there, you called your attorney.
I'm moving to adjourn.
I second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
All in favor?
Does anyone want any copies? No. Thank you.
I want
Thank you, everyone.
Oh,
no, the copies he has are the invoices from the
You just
attorney.
made this TRO so easy for us. You just made it so easy.
Their meeting is over. Does anybody else want to say? Absolutely. Anybody want to say? And that.
What's important? I mean, it's
Between ourselves. I mean, yeah, I was going to say.
Take them off.
This is unbelievable. I'm going to get out of here. Okay?
Yeah. See you guys.
The meetings, we have that kind of like this.
Hey, we're accepting the offer for how much money? You didn't even tell us how much money.
I sold it for $1. America, our word.
It's a mystery. Don't even know how much more it's It's gonna make this temporary restraining order so much easier. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
You-